So when you're on your apprenticeship, Callum, do you want to tell me a little bit more about your typical day?
My typical day? Well, fortunately, working with Foyne Jones, we've sort of been able to work very tightly as a closely knit unit. So every day I'll be having, whether it be during COVID, I'll be having a morning call with Peter to discuss campaigns or discuss the podcast and so on. So it would usually start off with a little morning meeting like that, and following on from that, I mean, it's been quite varied. In fairness, I've been working on the podcast. I've been doing videos online, so marketing content online. Imagery as well. It's been all sorts. So my days have been very varied, but typically I'll be, majority of the time I'll be editing stuff. So editing a podcast, editing video, managing our social media channels. So making sure that everything's going out on the right time and so on. So yeah, I'd say it's quite a varied day, quite a varied day, in fact, which is good. I've really enjoyed that because, when every day is different, it's a lot more fun, I think,
What we wanted to do and try and achieve with Callum is get him, in positions where he can really reach his full potential, because it's enormous in terms of where that talent could go. So you look at the live projects we're involved in, and you start looking at how you can bring these projects to life through storytelling, through video, through creative digital production, and that turns let's look at where you're based on Love Lane. That turns a branch manager recruitment project up the road to you into something very exciting, because you can tell the story, you can talk about the pathways in careers, and I wanted Callum to feel it and be part of it. So it was a little bit of in at the deep end. We would be jumping in a car, driving from Sussex to Bath to meet the managing director of Ripple's Bathrooms to record a podcast. And, we're in their environment. So Callum's got to be socially mature as well as, digitally mature. And he's got to handle himself in kind of a grown up way and get putting him in that area where he can go through. But I mean, you must look back at Callum and you must think, wow, that's been a roller coaster of an 18 months, but so much. There's been a few things that didn't work that well and got bad, but there's been so much more good, isn't there, mate?
Absolutely. And I think the one thing that I've the one key bit which has been sort of key to my own development, you said it there, Peter, was throwing me in the deep end, submerging me and, getting in the zone and just involved and, as well as, my classroom learning with my apprenticeship, as well as the support I've had at Foyne Jones, it's also been, some self-taught stuff as well, where I've been put into positions like that, going out on the podcast, speaking to managing directors and CEOs of companies, you got to learn quick in a way, So I think that's been really key to my development, just having the opportunity through an apprenticeship to be put in positions where I can develop quickly.
Callum's also an example of someone, if he doesn't know how to do it, and I'm not a technophobe, but my terminology, I'm kind of dragged kicking and screaming to it to a level, but I'm 45. But Callum will go away, he'll research it, he'll come up with the solutions, and he can teach himself some amazing stuff, and that's been brilliant, because it's added value in lots of different ways, and we've invested in the right kit, so we can support his development there. But I think from my perspective, if I was talking to businesses about apprenticeships, about the beauty of them, you can create a pathway for someone to progress at all different levels, whether that's school leaver, college leaver, university, all the way up to postgrad. But bring them into your business, whether they're a mature apprentice, a young apprentice, and make them part of it. I see stories, and I can see it with businesses I work with, where the apprenticeship is kind of like that person's on the side, or they're thought of at the end of the process. If you embed them in everything you do, the capacity to learn's phenomenal. It's phenomenal, and that's where I think we got the best out of Callum was being creative. I do believe in apprenticeships. It's something that we would encourage here, and I would encourage businesses I work with to embrace. But I do believe for them to work, and I covered this with Gary Baker and I covered it with Damien Waters, for someone like Callum to work, you need to have the right provider who is supportive and being proactive alongside the learning. And if we can do that, we can, perhaps inspire some stars of the future.
So what would you say to an employer that perhaps has concerns with taking on a younger apprentice? Because obviously there's sort of additionals, like you talked about, developing some of the soft skills with Callum. So what would you say to them?
What have you got to lose? You've got nothing to lose. You've got, if you find the right individual that fits your business, because I think the cultural fit's really important. Someone that wants to be there, someone with a willingness to learn. You've got passion, you've got enthusiasm, you've got energy, and you can create something there. The challenge is that, and we come across this all the time in recruitment, people look for the finished article or the perception that if someone's done the job for 2 years around the corner, they're going to hit the ground running and be really successful. Yeah, great, maybe they will be. But what about, Carmen, if they did an average job around the corner? They're only going to do an average job for you. You can bring someone in, you can develop them, nurture them and train them. And in the 6, 9, 12, 18, 24 months, once they're through that onboarding and the probation onboarding, we're saying you got really, really special people.
And so with that, Callum, what would you say to sort of an apprentice looking to, take on an apprenticeship? What should they be looking for in an employer?
Well, I think
I'll leave the room, Callum.
No, it's only good stuff, Peter, I promise. I think what I did when I first started speaking to Peter, when I first met him in the office, I asked him, have you had apprentices? When we was talking about apprenticeships, I asked him, have you had apprentices before? How's it been? How have you supported them? I think that because as much as you want to fit an employer and fit that workplace still has to fit you as well. So I think it's important that you've got to be asking questions. You've got to be making sure that they're supportive and getting involved and sort of working, alongside Peter as opposed to behind Peter. I think it's somewhere that's supportive. So if they've got that track record of apprentices in the past that have been successful, I think that's what you want to be looking at, really.
Fantastic. Oh, brilliant stuff. And then, what do you guys think that employers can be doing to attract apprentices to our industry?
I can answer that pretty easily. If you're talking about the builders merchant arena, you've got some amazing ambassadors that are doing their best already, and they are. And I know some of them personally well. They're friends as well as clients and colleagues. So you've got good people there. Perhaps there are other people within the industry who've got these voices that can be heard and they can bring people in, because if we're showing the diversity of positions, because it's not just driving a forklift or opening a branch, you've got marketing, head office, the digital presence of every business now is so important. Where's online and digital? Where's that talent going to come from? It's going to come from people that are at college and university right now, and they will go into music, they'll go into media, they'll go into sport, they'll go into the perceived sexier sectors, when actually you've got multi-billion-pound industry with multi-million-pound companies doing it right here in this sector. We've got to talk better. So I don't have all the answers to that one, Carmen. I think that's an eternal question, but it's something that I'm very, very passionate about.
And that's it. And that's something which Fiesta really focuses on, is ensuring, that we're not losing people from the industry. And whilst a lot of people are thinking, it's now the right time to be talking about not only entry-level apprenticeships, but apprenticeships as funded training. So when you're looking at, say, your level 4 sales exec courses, or if you're looking at chartered manager, any of those HGV driver, any of those sort of qualifications which do require someone with a little bit more experience coming in, it's really important to be working to keep people within the industry, and hopefully apprenticeships can be used as that sort of retention.
In some of my last few podcasts, I've had Gary Baker, I've had Damien Waters, and I've had Bart Murphy. Okay, so Bart Murphy, young merchant achiever, commercial director at MP Moran's, Damien at the BIK BBI, Gary at CD UK and Fiesta. You have there 3 amazingly passionate people. You throw me into that mix, you've got, you know, even more passion and even more kind of, you know, inspiration for the sectors we're in. If we keep talking about the opportunity and the pathways, that can only be a good thing. And it just needs to be embraced and I think shared more. And that's really where I am. I genuinely believe if we went into 10 secondary schools and 10 colleges now and spoke about the actual diversity of careers in the sectors I recruit for, it would blow people away.